Hi everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. Now in this video is going to be a demonstration of how you use the new color therapy kit that's coming to Truly Holistic. Now what you'll receive in the color therapy kit is you'll get the copper core plate, okay, which is got 4 separate coils, which you can use all 4 for one person, but you can also just use 1 coil for each people, so you could be working on 4 people. Now, none of these are all connected with one another. They're not amplifying each other. They're a coil in their own right, okay? So with this plate, you can actively be working on 4 people, okay? So that's very beneficial for working on issues for yourself or maybe on family members if you're a practitioner on your clients, okay? Now, you can see the coils behind me here. This was the older model, okay, and that was a model that was bestowed through my family, you know. So as part of the system, you're going to need a booklet as well, which is going to have an instruction manual. It's going to be very basic instruction. We want to keep everything as simple as possible, but there's also going to be a history, a bit of a to give you some insight into my lineage of this form of color therapy through my family, through my grandmother, to my mother, to me, and how we've kind of adapted along the way to make it more accessible for you to utilize and learn. So you get that. You get a bag of color cottons. This is going to be the representation of light, right? Because what we're doing here with color is a medium for a spectrum of light, right? All the different colors. So we've got the color cottons, we've got the coils. You're also going to get a dowsing rod, okay? And we were thinking, hey, do you need a pair of dowsing rods or do you just need the one? Really, you just need the one. But obviously, if you were more comfortable with having a pair of dowsing rods, then we'd obviously facilitate that for you. We're in fact looking at also creating a pendulum dowsing chart for identification of what color you require, if that is what you're more comfortable using in regards to a pendulum. But what we really want to promote, and what I'm going to show in this video without using a pendulum, is this extension of feel or heart feel, this pathway that is enabling you as a soul, you as an expansive infinite consciousness to come through and guide and direct, be your guide to obviously what you require for the experience or the symptoms that is creating unease for you, that is leading you to using this particular modality. So we're going to use a dowsing rod. This is a dowsing rod that is formulated and been created by me at Truly Holistic, which is, for me, I feel is the best dowsing rods out there, because it's not just a dowsing rod. I just have a bent wire in an L shape and put a little handle on it. There is energetic. They're all cut to a measurement that's bringing through energy to enable you to connect more into your soul and your infinite consciousness aspect. So this can not only be used for yes and no answers as a dowsing rod, but also like a wand to facilitate energy in a certain area. So it's a wonderful device in its own right. So we've got that, we've got that, we've got that. You will get an instruction booklet, a manual giving a history and a guideline in regards to that. You'll also get some little pegs as well, right, which are going to peg the colors onto the plate. Okay, so let's get into it. So obviously, if you're working on yourself, and let's use that example, right, or even a family member or client, is you're going to take into what their symptoms are, what's their experience. And again, we're not looking for clinical diagnosis, we're not looking for labels, I'm not looking for, because again, that's a very cerebral, analytical way of looking at healing. And what I know, and what we're Truly Holistic is really evolving itself, is simplifying everything. And why we're doing that is that individual that is experiencing that hardship, that health problem, the way they perceive things is very important, very vital. And if they start to have a perception, a perspective that is becoming more complicated, they are actually indeed putting the odds in against themselves by doing so. because they were accessing a pathway we call the mind-thought pathway, which doesn't enable that person to connect into their expansion, but they're enabling other intelligences to come through and use that person as an interface. So an extension of their own will, which is not going to end well for that person. You know, when we look at the body already knows how to rejuvenate, regenerate, and heal. It requires materials to continue those processes, which is energy, and a lot of it. And we know that where do we find an expansion of energy? It's definitely not through the mind-thought pathway, it's through the heart-feel pathway. So this is not only going to give expansive amount of energy to allow the body to do what it knows what to do, but it's also going to be the greatest guiding grace ally you could ever have in regards to being with your intuition and your instinctive ability to get out of mentality, get out of complexity, and get back into simplicity and back into an intuitive means, which is really your authenticity. So let's get into it. So first of all, what you're going to do is you're going to grab your bag of colors. So obviously, you know, that person has told them how they feel. Let's say they said, I've got a headache. I've got a migraine headache. Okay, so that's all you need to know. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to find the color that is going to be the resolution. Right, the problem is the headache, the migraine. The solution, what color, is going to remedy that. That's all we need to know. Okay, so let's come back down here. And because of these means, anyone can do this. That's why we're trying to keep it as simple as possible. So what you do is you just take all those out. Okay, and now obviously we'll put it in a bag like that because it's just, again, we're just giving you the basics. We're giving you the simple basics of what you need because, again, everything needs to stay simple. With those colors, you can take them out and you can hook them onto something that you've got at home or something you want to buy. Again, we're just giving you the kit. Okay, so here we go. So what you do is you just want to spread it out. If you want to do it through this manner, as I'm going to show you, right? Spread it out a bit, like that. Okay, and what you're going to do here is then, for me, what I do here is I take the dowsing rod and I hang it over the colors. Right, and again, it's not about keeping my hand still like a pendulum, right? You know, when you're learning a pendulum for the first time, and I was there at one point, you keep your hand still. You get told to keep your hand still, right? You let it just go back and forth. But after a while, you want to evolve that process. Like everything in life, you want to evolve everything. And this is what happened to me. And now, today, I don't use a pendulum. I just run my hand over the charts. And I go by feel, and my dowsing ability never has interference, and it's probably the fastest of anybody I know out there, right? Because the ultimate block is thought and the mind getting in the way, okay? This is why you want to open up to heart feel, which is, again, being very present, right? Which is really the whole idea of consciousness in itself, is to be self-aware, to be in the moment. It's not about what I learned before now that's going to help me. No, I'm going to be a complete blank canvas right now, and we are going to just find the color to splash that color onto that blank canvas to make a painting. Okay, this is what it's all about. So I use my hand, but in this video I will show you what I do with my hand, but I'm using the dowsing rod here too. So here we go. Okay, so what I often do is go like that, and I'm feeling for something to pull me in a certain direction, right? I can feel it. It's like I'm working through treacle, right, in regards to it, and I can feel resistance, I can feel a pull towards a direction, and what it will do when it gets to it, let's say it comes to this color, again, I'm just using this example, it will just stay there, and it doesn't matter where I move around, this point will be fixated on this, okay? Now, if you want to make it more specific, you could go, can you find me the label of the color? So it will go to this bit of the color, okay? Like that, and it will go to this. Now if I was not using that, I was using my hand, I would just go like that. and it would go to the area and it would circle the area and it would identify that color. Okay, now another beauty about this system is this is how I started. This was my original journey as an energy healer, right? Was pendulum dowsing rod before the pendulum, and with my grandmother's color book, which had all these cottons in it, and one of the big coils like up here. And what I used to do is I'd go through the pages, and I'd have my 2 dowsing rods actually with that, and I'd say, is the color that we need on this chart, okay? And it would go, give me a no, and it would go inwards if it was a no, give me a yes, and then it goes outwards for a yes. And then if it said no, okay, you go to the next page. And then when it would say yes, then there'd be about a whole, like 15 different greens, let's say. So what I'd do is I'd run it down with this, and it would go to it, and I could feel it, and it would point to it. It would even go up, up and down to tell me, hey, that is the color I need. So it's a really cool way of doing it, because it's encouraging you to allow your heart to lead your process, to stay in that heart field pathway, which also is going to enable you to learn more about how your body expresses itself, how it communicates. Because the human body, the physical body, is a form of expression. A symptom is something it's a sensation we feel through the body. It's an expression, a communication that's trying to provide an awareness to you, to say, hey, something's not right here, something's up. You need to change how you're perceiving your life, the perception you're putting in front of your life, how you're going about your life. You need to change that, because it's not working for us. It's not working for the body. That's how it communicates. So symptoms aren't the problem. Symptoms are the messenger. Okay. So let's say, okay, yep, it's identified that color, right? So what we're going to do now is we'd bring this across, right? So we've got that there, and we're going to choose this one, and this is where we get the peg, right? And what I like to do here, because sometimes it's more than one color that's required for that element, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to wrap it around like so. And what you do is you can just peg it on like that. Right? So there's the color pegged onto the plate. Okay? Now, what you're obviously also going to have pegged down underneath that color is either that person's name on a piece of paper or a photo, a small photo. Right? So that color is doing distance healing and being directed into that person that you want it to be broadcast into. Okay? So when we look at this, right, you've got a coil. Now, a coil is creating a vortex, and we know that the geometry of a vortex is providing flow. When we look at the body, right, and this is what we're trying to do here, the body is reliant on flow to provide wellness, vitality. When we look at any illness, any disease, it is an illness, a disease, by definition, because it's preventing that area to be a representation of flow. It's either creating congestion, obstruction, or blockage to flow to that area. Okay? As I say, it doesn't matter whether that's a nervous system, neurons communicating from neuron to neuron, urinary system, digestive system, respiratory system, cardiovascular system, all relies on flow. Okay, so when we bring a coil into it, it's creating the geometry of a vortex, which is flow, which we want. Okay, now I've cut these coils to a specific measurement that connects you into the heart, right? Because as I said earlier, right, we want our expansion coming through, and that's through the doorway of the heart, not the mind. And how do we allow that, right? But being present, which is a state of being. After all, we are called human beings after all, but that's the little cosmic joke. Human beings. But majority of people don't know how to be. What studies have shown that 95% of the time, humans are in the subconscious mind, which means you lack a self-awareness. Now, self-awareness is the word consciousness, because we're not being present, we're doing. We really should be called human doings, but it's having a really detrimental effect on our health by doing instead of being. Right? So the coil creates that vortex. Okay. Now it's also going to amplify because it's providing energy, and the ends of the coil, if I put it around this, you can get a closer look of it. Right, the two ends, right? So the end from this end has come, we've welded it in, and then that end welded it onto the plate, right? So the plate is there for the kind of space holder that person is going to be in. So hence the name or the photo, and then the colors being applied to it. So it's very simple as that. So obviously we've found one color, but what you would do is you wouldn't be happy with one color. What you do is, again, with that experience, those symptoms that person is experiencing, you go back over the colors to find out, is there another color? And so I'll just show you a representation of that. So again, you get this, right? And you look for it. And if you can't feel like it's being drawn to anything and it comes off where all the colors are, that means that there is no other colors required for that ailment for that person. So we just go with that one color. And as I say, it'll be either a name or a photo of that person underneath that. You just peg it together and you leave it there. And then the next day, you again pick up the dowsing rod, pick up the pendulum or any other intuitive way that you use it to see if that color is the right color for that ailment, or you can obviously then text or call or see how that person feels the next day and then plan according to that. They might say, I feel a lot better. So then you're going to ask, does that person require that color, or has that resolved what we need to do? And let's say if it had said yes, right? So if you're using a dowsing rod and you find your yes and no answer and you go, hey, is this color required still for the person not feeling better? Let's say it came in, and that might not be your no response. You have to learn that yourself to find out what's your yes and no response with a rod. So let's say it said, yep, we don't need that. We don't need that anymore. So obviously you'd unclip that color off and you take that color off. Let's say that person was feeling better, but they still were having those symptoms to a lesser degree. You might find out that color's not doing the job anymore, and yes, you need another color to replace it. So that's where you go about it, and you go back into the pile of colors and find out which color is required for that person. So it's a very simple process. We wanted to keep it like that. Now, I wanted it to be different to the other systems that we have in place at the moment, which is the broadcasting system, the intuitively alignment system. Intuitively alignment is working on biomechanical structure, so alignment of our vertebrae discs and releasing nerves and working on connective tissue. Broadcasting system using the sun ring to broadcast any sustenance of energy required, whether that's a supplement, whether that's a superfood or medicinal herb or essential oil, whatever, but doing it energetically. So they have an extensive dowsing chart system that goes with it. With this, we didn't really want to do that. We wanted to keep it really, really simple. Again, really promoting this message that Truly His that's trying to provide in regards to simplicity. That simplicity allows healing. Because when we talk about the state of being, a state of being is making things simple. Because the heart knows simplicity, the mind knows complexity, and we know that stress is connected to every issue there is, right? Every health problem there is, and stress comes out of being overwhelmed. Why? Because out of complexity of doing too much, not being enough, right? So simplicity is what's needed here. So that's essentially it. And at the moment, we're taking pre-orders for this. Because as I say, I'm still working on the instruction manual and booklet in regards to the history and everything. That's still work in progress, but the system itself, all the tools like this, are all ready to go. So it'll be a pre-order. If you're interested, comment down below, or get in touch with me at chrisfabish@hotmail.com, CHRISFABISH @hotmail.com, and let me know that you're interested in this product, and I'll put you down on a list when it is available that we can get it shipped out to you. Until next time.